All right, welcome back. In the last video, Lamott gave us permission to write a bad first draft. So now the obvious question is whether that holds up when the writing actually matters. So in this part, we're going to watch her do it with writing she's getting paid for. So again, let's warm up with a quick prediction. She's about to tell a long story about writing restaurant reviews. So here's my question. Why do you think a writer would teach you something by telling a story instead of just handing you a list of rules? Keep that in mind as we read. Now, again, two quick words to prime you. This first word is lead, and it's a journalism term for the opening lines of a piece, the part that pulls a reader in. This next one, overwrought, means overdone, too much, trying too hard. Um, and that's it. Let's get into it. I used to write food reviews for California Magazine before it folded. My writing food reviews had nothing to do with the magazine folding, although every single review did cause a couple of canceled subscriptions. Some readers took umbrage at my comparing mounds of vegetable puree with various ex-presidents' brains. These reviews always took 2 days to write. First, I'd go to a restaurant several times with a few opinionated, articulate friends in tow. I'd sit there writing down everything anyone said that was at all interesting or funny. Then, on the following Monday, I'd sit down at my desk with my notes and try to write the review. Even after I'd been doing this for years, panic would set in. I'd try to write a lead, but instead, I'd write a couple of dreadful sentences, X them out, try again, X everything out, and then feel despair and worry settle on my chest like an X-ray apron. It's over, I'd think calmly. I'm not going to be able to get the magic to work this time. I'm ruined. I'm through. I'm toast. Maybe, I'd think, I can get my old job back as a clerk typist. But probably not. I'd get up and study my teeth in the mirror for a while. Then I'd stop, remember to breathe, make a few phone calls, hit the kitchen, and chow down. Eventually, I'd go back and sit down at my desk and sigh for the next 10 minutes. Finally, I would pick up my 1-inch picture frame, stare into it as if for the answer, and every time the answer would come, all I had to do was write a really shitty first draft of, say, the opening paragraph, and no one was going to see it. So I'd start writing without reining myself in. It was almost just typing, just making my fingers move. And the writing would be terrible. I'd write a lead paragraph that was a whole page, even though the entire review could only be 3 pages long. And then I'd start writing up descriptions of the food, one dish at a time, bird by bird, and the critics would be sitting on my shoulders, commenting like cartoon characters. They'd be pretending to snore, or rolling their eyes at my overwrought descriptions. No matter how hard I tried to tone those descriptions down, no matter how conscious I was of what a friend said to me gently in my early days of restaurant reviewing. Annie, she said, it is just a piece of chicken. It is just a bit of cake. Okay, so listen to what Anne's describing here. The panic, the dread settling on her chest like an X-ray apron. Um, oh, I want my highlighter. You know those really heavy lead aprons they put on you at the dentist? That's what it's feeling like for her. The weight of facing that blank page. And here's what I want you to catch. She is a professional writer, doing this for years, getting paid, and she still feels this panic. And so if you feel it, you're not doing anything wrong and nothing unusual is happening. You're just writing. Okay, let's keep going. But because by then I had been writing for so long, I would eventually let myself trust the process, sort of, more or less. I'd write a first draft that was maybe twice as long as it should be, with a self-indulgent and boring beginning, stupefying descriptions of the meal, lots of quotes from my black-humored friends that made them sound more like the Manson girls than food lovers, and no ending to speak of. The whole thing would be so long and incoherent and hideous that for the rest of the day, I'd obsess about getting creamed by a car before I could write a decent second draft. I'd worry that people would read what I had written and believe that the accident had really been a suicide, that I'd panicked because my talent was waning and my mind was shot. The next day, though, I'd sit down, go through it all with a colored pen, take out everything I possibly could, find a new lead somewhere on the second page, figure out a kicky place to end it, and then write a second draft. It always turned out fine, sometimes even funny and weird and helpful. I'd go over it one more time and mail it in. Now, watch the shape of what she does here. Let's start. So, back up here. Step one is panic. And then step two is write it bad anyway. Let it be too long, self-indulgent, uh, let's see what else she says. Boring, stupefying, no ending. But then we have step three. She comes back and goes through it, takes things out that don't belong there, finds what's good, and writes her second draft. So it turns out fine in the end. And this is a process. It repeats. Then, a month later, when it was time for another review, the whole process would start again, complete with fears that people would find my first draft before I could rewrite it. Almost all good writing begins with terrible first efforts. You need to start somewhere. Start by getting something, anything down on paper. Okay. A friend of mine says that the first draft is the down draft. You just get it down. The second draft is the up draft. You fix it up. You try to say what you have to say more accurately. And the third draft is the dental draft, where you check every tooth to see if it's loose or cramped or decayed or even, God help us, healthy. Okay, so here's the tool from this part, and this is a good one to write down. Lamott's friend names three types of drafts. The down draft. This is the first draft, the shitty draft. You just get it down. Then the updraft, you fix it up. You try to get it closer to what you were hoping it would be. And then the dental draft, and I like this image a lot, where you're checking every word the way a dentist checks every tooth. Is it loose? Is it healthy? Does it belong? So we've got down, up, dental. And this is, I think, the most practical advice in the whole essay. So we've got two takeaways from this section. First, Lamott taught us by showing. The story was her evidence, and it's convincing because we can connect with it. It's her real life. It's easier to believe it when we see it play out than just to get a list of advice. And second, we have this framework, the down draft, the up draft, and the dental draft. And we'll actually follow a really similar pattern in class this whole quarter. So let's connect this to your work again. Your first assignment, introducing yourself as a writer, is a down draft. You're not being graded on polish, you're being asked to think, get your words down in your own voice. And what we're going to talk about in the next part is the one thing that still gets in the way, even after you know all of this, which is those pesky voices in your head telling you that your writing is bad. And that's going to be the last video, so I'll see you there.